This is the second video. In the first video, we see how Brother Simon had an encounter with Yusuf Adepoju, even though Adepoju was trying to deny the hadith of Muhammad marrying Aisha at the age of 6 and having sex with her at the age of 9. But he later consented to the fact that that actually happened. Now, before we go analyzing in the next video to talk about how the whole thing went, let us see how we consented to that and the response that he gave eventually.
Brother Simon, even though you did not quote anything from Sahih Buhari, you are quoting from the phone. So we don't want to content that because of our time. That is why I said, okay, we are not following it because you are marrying. Jesus Christ never married. Okay, we are not following it because you are marrying. Jesus Christ never married.
I've just told you that Jesus Christ did not come to this world to marry. He came to save. You understand me? And if you cannot claim me on that, sir. Please, I'm not going to praise you. Let me give you
the second answer.
Let me go to the next question. No, the people are waiting online.
Let me give you the second answer.
It's not about time. I don't want to waste your time.
Brother Simon, can you please explain this for us? This is the book of Luke.
Salaam alaikum. Please.
I want to answer you. I want to give you the second answer.
Please, sir. You are not to ask me a question. I'm
not answering you. I want to answer the second.
You should answer my question.
Let me answer your question.
After you have answered my question, then you cannot ask me any question related to Bible. I'm asking you
about your question.
Okay, can I go to the next question now,
no,
sir?
No, let me answer the first one. I've given you the first answer.
You have answered the first one?
I've answered the first one. Whether you like it or not, take it. Let me answer. Let me give you the second answer.
Now, since you have answered the next one, the first one,
let me give you the second answer.
I'm not fighting your Imam.
I'm not fighting you as well. Brother Simon, sit down. Sit down. You have asked the question. Please. No.
You guys kind of angry. Please don't be angry. Please don't be angry.
Brother Simon, I don't want you to come and waste our time here. You have asked the question.
That's the reason why I said I should go to the next question.
We have encountered so many people like him. We know their tactics. They used to attend lectures and disrupt the program. Now, but I will be so much patient for him. He asked the question. You didn't give us any evidence. You were only quoting from your phone. Now, but I just answered you for answering sake. That was the first answer. The second answer is this. Brother Simon, you have to do this. In the book of Luke chapter 2, verse 36, it reads, now there was one Anna in the Bible, a prophetess, the daughter of Panoah of the tribe of Asher. Please listen. She was of a great age and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity. 7 years from her virginity. Are your daughters practicing this? Now, you now answer the second question.
Listen.
You now answer. Let me. No, I have answered you.
Let me read it.
Yours read.
Let me read it. It is a. Now there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Panoel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age and had lived with the husband 7 years from her virginity. And this woman was a widow of about 84 years, who did not depart from the temple, but served God with fasting and prayers.
Very good. A prophetess.
Now, I don't know what this got to do with what we are discussing here about the Aisha here.
Okay, agreed. Your second question.
Now you will note that in response, Yusuf Adepoju was actually quoting Luke chapter 2, verse 36. Now, Luke chapter 2, verse 36, according to Adepoju, is a justification to what Muhammad did. Now, please note, Muhammad was actually 54-year-old, or rather at that time, when he actually had sex with Aisha at the age of 9. So, what Adepoju is telling us is that, you see, what Muhammad actually did actually had a justification. Because in your own Bible, Hannah the prophetess was also married at the age of 7. That is actually the evidence he was trying to give from the Bible to answer the brother. But we know that does not answer the question. What if the brother is an atheist? Are you still going to be quoting the Bible to answer him? But let's leave that aside. We're still going to go into the Bible to see if the Bible actually says that Anna the prophetess was married at the age of 7. But before we go into analyzing all of the details as to see if what Adepoju is saying hold ground and some other responses that were given on his behalf, we need to take a look at some certain things. Now, despite the fact that Adepoju was so ashamed to admit that Muhammad actually married Aisha at the age of 6 and also have sex with her at the age of 9, some Muslim scholars, or let me say some spiritual fathers in Adepoju's program, also find it out to believe the same thing as well. The audience also find it very difficult to believe as well. Now, talking about one of the spiritual fathers that find this very difficult to believe, a former Christian who called himself a former Christian actually, he said that what Simon is bringing from the phone is not or cannot be authenticated and is not actually the truth. That is actually presenting it as if it's the truth, but it's not the truth. Here's what the man said concerning Brother Simon in the video.
Mr. Simon, what they were telling you, he was defending his own materials and he was using Bible here and opening the Bible here. He wasn't quoting from any telephone. So you can also carry the Bible and read it yourself. I can put anything on the telephone and come and correct here and so. Because they are recording. The recording will be showing as if that thing is authentic. The authenticity of what you are saying. Bring the hadith, the book of it. And as they are opening the Bible and Quran here, come and show it here. That is what they are telling you. And stop and let me warn you, my dear brother. Let me warn you. Now today, I'm 72 years old. And I'm sure you are not yet up to 59 years. Be careful. Be careful. Because you are protecting your day of salvation. Don't go.
As we can see, the man does not agree with what is in the hadith, actually quoted from Brother Simon in the phone. He believes that what Brother Simon is quoting is not actually the truth. Because what the man is saying is that, how can he be quoting from the phone? And people will be thinking that what he's quoting from the phone is the truth. Actually, we established in the first video that what Brother Simon is quoting from the phone can be seen in the volume 7 of Sahih Buhari. Is actually what he quoted. So what that tells us is that apart from Adepoju, there are some people present there that couldn't just believe their ears. That how could Muhammad be marrying Aisha at the age of 6 and also having sex with her at the age of 9? They find it very difficult to believe. But before we go further, before we start analyzing the book of Luke chapter 2 verse 36 and also 37 to confirm if Anna the prophetess also had sex or was married at the age of 7, let us see what somebody else actually said concerning this issue of Aisha being married at the age of 6 and then being the marriage being consummated at the age of 9. There is actually an Imam there or a scholar also that confirmed that Aisha was actually married at the age of 6 and then Muhammad asked with her at the age of 9. In fact, this man said that Aisha was a minor. In other words, she was still a child when Muhammad married her. And then when she was about to be consummated, when the marriage was about to be consummated, this scholar said that Aisha was already matured. Now let's see what he has to say.
Wallahi wa rabbil Kaaba. Wa rabbil Kaaba. Somebody is as tall as Alaji. Stand up, please. As tall as Alaji. His room is close to my room in Malaysia. So when we met the first time, he came to our blog. Then we did introduction. So he now asked me from where I said from Nigeria. I asked him, he's from Palestine. As tall as this. He asked me, how old are you? I said above 40. I asked him, how old are you? He said, I'm 25 years. I said, so if not that I married lately, I am enough to be your father. 25 years as tall as this Warabil Kaaba. So you cannot imagine the rate at which people grow at that time and the rate at which people grow at this time. Even you cannot imagine the way at rate people will continue to grow 10 years or 15 years to come. So Aisha was a minor. She was not matured when they married her, and she was left untouched until when she became matured at 9 years of that very time. So Aisha was a minor. She was not matured when they married her, and she was left untouched until when she became matured at 9 years of that very time. That time and of that very area of the world.
Now, please know what the Ustaz says. The Imam is actually saying that Aisha was not matured when she was married at the age of 6. But according to her, during the custom of those days, or in the place where Aisha was, born, she must have been matured, or she's already matured at the age of 9. But let's quickly debunk this, refute this, before we start looking into the book of Luke chapter 2, verse 36. Now let's take a look at the hadith. Actually, the hadith narrated that Aisha was still playing with the door when she was being taken to the house of the prophet. In other words, Aisha was not all matured when she was taken into the house of the prophet. And how do I know that? We're going to be reading from the hadith. The hadith confirms that she used to play with the door. And according to the interpretation, Aisha was not old enough, was not matured. That is the reason why she was playing with the door. Let's read what the hadith says. Sahih Muslim, book 31, hadith 5981. Aisha reported that she used to play with the doors in the presence of Allah's messenger. And when her playmates came to her, they left the house because they felt shy of Allah's messenger, whereas Allah's messenger sent them to her. Now we can see from this first hadith narration how Aisha used to play with door when she was in the house of the messenger. Now somebody will ask the question, where it only talks about Aisha playing the door. It doesn't talk about Aisha playing the door, or that Aisha was the marriage between Aisha and Muhammad was consummated when Aisha was still playing with the door. But let's see what the next hadith is. It's very interesting. We read Sahih Muslim, book 8, hadith number 3311. Aisha, Allah be pleased with her, reported Allah's apostle married her when she was 7 years old, and he was taken to the house as a bride when she was 9, and her door was with her. And when he, the Holy Prophet, died, she was 18 years old. Now we can see from this narration that when actually Aisha was taken to the house of Muhammad, or when the marriage was to be consummated, Aisha was already not mature. Why? Because she's still playing with the door. In other words, when Aisha was taken to the house of the Prophet, she was already 9 at that point, and she was still playing with the door. She was not matured. That's what the hadith says. It means that Aisha was not already matured when she was still playing with the door. So if the Imam is saying that at the age of 9, Aisha is already matured, the hadith is confirming here that she's still playing with her door and she's not matured. And some people might be saying, well, Korede, you are reading into the hadith. Well, for the fact that she's already at the age of 9 means she's already matured. Now, I'm going to be giving you another hadith reference to show that Aisha was not matured even at the age of 9 when she was playing with the door. Here's what the hadith says. Sahih Bukhari, volume 8, hadith number 151. Narrated Aisha, I used to play with the doors in the presence of the Prophet, and my girlfriend also used to play with me. When Allah's apostle used to enter my dwelling place, they used to hide themselves, but the Prophet would call them to join and play with me. Please note this part. The playing with the doors and similar images is forbidden, but it was allowed for Aisha at the time, as she was a little girl, not reached the age of puberty. Now, according to the hadith narration, we discover that Aisha is not yet matured, even at that point in time. That is why she was playing with the door, as confirmed by the hadith. The hadith says that the playing of the door was actually permitted for her, and it was because she is not yet reached the age of puberty. So, contrary to what the Islamic man is saying, the Ustaz, saying that Aisha must have been mature or that she's matured before the Prophet penetrated her, we discover from the hadith here that she was not even matured at that point. That was why she was playing with the door. Now, we can now go to the book of Luke chapter 2, verse 36, and see if this actually confirms what Adepoju was saying, that Anna the prophetess was actually married at the age of 7. Let us read what Luke chapter 2 verse 36 says in the KJV. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asa. She was of a great age, and she has lived with an husband 7 years from her virginity. Now, according to Adepoju, this verse is saying that Anna got married when she was 7 years old. In other words, Adepoju is implying that if you say that Aisha got married to the prophet at the age of 6, and she was consummated, the marriage was consummated at the age of 9, what about Anna the prophetess, who actually got married at the age of 7? And the crowd were like, wow, we've seen a similar verse. We've seen a 1-1. It happened in the hadith and it also happened in the Bible. So why are you inconsistent? Why don't you accept what the verse is saying? First off, I'm so shocked and surprised that despite the fact that Yusuf Adepoju have various English translations of the Bible, I find it very difficult to check out this verse in other English translation to see what the verse is actually saying. Even from the KJV itself, the verse is saying that this woman lived with her husband for 7 years before she became a widow. In fact, when you read verse 37, it clears the matter. Let us read verse 37. And she was a widow of about 84 years, which departed not from the temple, but served God with fasting and prayer night and day. Now we see from verse 37 how old she was, and then we see from verse 36 how many years she lived with her husband before she became a widow. This verse is not saying that the prophetess actually married at the age of 7. No, this verse is actually saying that she lived with her husband for 7 years before she became a widow. Now I'm actually shocked and disappointed because Adepoju actually have different English translation of the Bible. Why can't he just take a look at some other simple English? Because I think that the KJV is difficult for him to understand. Why can't he check some other English translation to get a clearer meaning and understanding of what the verse is talking about? Why must they assume, without even having an understanding of what the verse is saying, that Anna the prophetess was married at the age of 7? Now, to make it easy for Adepoju, I'm going to be reading from about 4 English translations of the Bible. I think this is going to be easier for him. 4 simple English, just simple English, for him to comprehend and see that this verse is not talking about Anna getting married at the age of 7, but rather Anna lived with her husband for 7 years before she became a widow. The New International Version, NIV. There was a prophet, Anna, the daughter of Peniel, of the tribe of Asher. She was very old. She had lived with her husband 7 years after her marriage, and then was a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple but worshipped night and day, fasting and praying. Now we see what the NIV has to say. NIV breaks it down in simple English language that she was actually married to the husband for 7 years before she became a widow. How about the Good News translation? What does he have to say on this? Simple English. Let's read what he had to say. There was a old prophet, a widow named Anna, the daughter of Peniel of the tribe of Asher. She had been married for only 7 years and was now 84 years old. She never left the temple day and night. She worshipped God, fasting and praying. Now we see what the Good News translation actually says. The very same thing, emphasizing the fact that Anna only got married to the husband for 7 years before she became a widow. In other words, her marriage lasted for 7 years before she became a widow. The verse is not saying that she got married when she was 7 years old. Anyways, let's read another translation, the RSV, and see how this was actually translated. And there was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Peniel of the tribe of Asher, and she was of a great age, having lived with her husband 7 years from her virginity, and as a widow till she was 84. She did not depart from the temple, worshipping with fasting and prayer night and day. Now we see what the RSV also says. It's saying that this woman lived with her husband for 7 good years before she became a widow. Now the very last translation of the Bible we're going to be reading, NLT, let's see what they also has to say concerning this verse. Remember, the reason why we're doing all of this is because we want to read this in a plain English simple term for our scholar to understand. Let's see what the NLT has to say. Anna, a prophet, was also there in the temple. She was the daughter of Peniel from the tribe of Asher. She was very old. Her husband died when they had been married for only 7 years. Then she lived as a widow to the age of 84. She never left the temple but stayed there day and night, worshipping God with fasting and prayer. Now, we've seen from all this verse of the Bible or translation of the Bible in simple English term that this prophetess did not get married when she was 7 years old. In other words, she got married to her husband and the marriage only lasted for 7 years because the man died. In other words, the marriage lasted for 7 years and she became a widow. This does not have anything to do with the woman getting married at the age of 7. Now, I know the reason why Adepoju had to bring up this verse because it was shameful to him to admit in the audience, in the presence of the Muslim right there, that Muhammad actually had sex with Aisha at the age of 9. It was shameful for him to admit that. But if he is a Muslim and he believes that Muhammad is the best example for mankind, why is he ashamed to admit that Muhammad actually penetrated Aisha at the age of 9? He shouldn't have even been doubting the hadith. He shouldn't have even been trying to deny the hadith in the first place. He should have just admitted this is actually what happened. And then he was trying to show the same from the Bible, and we discovered that it was actually a show of shame. And the verse that we're reading from the Bible had nothing to do with Aisha being penetrated at the age of 9. Now, the question that comes to mind is this. How many Muslims are actually aware of this narration from the hadith? I understand that there are some Muslims that do not accept this narration because to them it is embarrassing. For instance, Ustaz Jami Adegoa does not accept this narration from the hadith. He believes that this is not commonsensical. In other words, it is disgracing for a 54-year-old man to penetrate a 9-year-old child. According to him, it is not normal. A person that does that must not be a normal man. And then he believes that Aisha was actually 17 or 18 years old when he actually became the wife of the Prophet. So I can understand the mindset of some Muslims because it is disgracing for the Prophet to do something like that. But if this is in the hadith, and it's Sahih hadith for that matter, why should it be rejected? And why should Adepoju be ashamed to talk about this from the hadith? Now, the controversy was so much that when Brother Simon was leaving the program, some Muslims were so angry that almost, were trying to move towards him, probably even to attack him. Now, Adepoju had to be telling them not to touch him, not to harm him, because they were so emotional. This is what Adepoju actually had to say.
Please let him go. Leave him. Let him go.
I need you.
Please leave him. Let him go. We know their tactics. That's what they used to do. Let us be on seat. Please let us leave them now. Ẹ má fọwọ́ kàn, ẹ jẹ́ ó máa lọ.
Ẹ má fọwọ́ kàn o.
Ó ti wá lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà rí tán ṣe nìyẹn.
As you can see, they were so emotional. Adepoju had to tell them to leave him and let him go freely. I can understand. A lot of them were shocked. In fact, they were surprised at what they were hearing. Now, eventually, Adepoju had to say that the reason why the brother came to the program is to come and disrupt their program. No, the brother was only making a simple inquiry, asking a simple question. He's not coming there to disrupt the program. In fact, Adepoju had to conclude that Korede and Isan, myself and Evangelist Isan, are the one that sent Barabaminas. And the truth of the matter is this: we don't even know about the program until after the brother has went to the program. We didn't know that he was even going to be having a program there in Abuja. We didn't even know that the brother went there. It was after the brother went there, that is when he came to us and told us what actually, transpired. We didn't have an idea. It seems that anybody that exposes Islam or that engages Yusuf Adepoju in a meaningful dialogue must actually be sent by Korede and Isan. This is not actually true. There are a lot of apologies out there that are strong. They are very, very grounded, that can take off Yusuf Adepoju. And we don't even know them. They are not sent from us. We don't know them. So why must it be assuming that anybody that take him up on a meaningful dialogue must be sent from Isang and Korede?
So we know that the brother was sent by Isang and Korede. Everybody knows them on the Facebook. They used to criticize the Holy Prophet Muhammad. They used to put cartoons demeaning Islam. So we know what they are up to. We have barred Korede and Isang from attending our lectures. And the reason is, in one of our outings in Lagos State, we did not allow them. We wanted to allow them, but people were sure that we should not allow them. The next thing, he reported me that I ordered my bodyguards to behead him. So the SSS called me that, are you Mr. Adepoju? You said they should kill a man. I said, kill a man? So we now sent the video clip to the SSS to watch. That where is that killings now? And I said, Mr. Korede and Isang, on the day of accountability, I am going to question you before Allah. That we are in that tape, or we are in that program, did I order that you should be killed? And this is somebody that wrote a book. He said, my case against Allah. So because we have barred them from attending our program, so their new tactics is just to send people to come and disrupt their program. And that was what they did in Oshogbo when they sent, what's the name? Anthony Fawale. Same thing. And he said his name is Anthony Ibn Fawale. So he brought the phone, was quoting this from the phone and said, please bring a copy of that Sahih Buhari.
Finally, as a way of wrapping this up, if you're a Muslim and you're watching this and you're wondering why Muhammad actually married Aisha at the age of 6 and had sex with her at the age of 9, well, it is because, number one, it was recorded in the Hadith, and you have to believe it as a Muslim. Maybe you like it or not. It is recorded in the Sunni Hadith. This is it. It's recorded in this Hadith. Maybe you like it or not, you have to accept it. And according to the Quran says that Muhammad is the best example for mankind. Now, he's not even the best example for the Muslims alone. Best example for mankind. So if Muhammad is your example, that means you as a Muslim, you are obligated to also marry, a girl of 6 years old and also consummate the marriage or even have sex with the girl at the age of 9. Is this not shameful? Is this not mind-troubling? And if you think I'm making this up, you can check the first video that I made. The evidence are right there in the Hadith. We did not make this up. And we're not trying to say this because we want to get Muslims angry. We're not trying to say this because we want to get the Muslims mad. No. We're saying this because we love you. And we want you to see what your book is actually saying. The things that the Islamic scholars are not telling you. Please verify these things themselves. Verify them. You can look them up online. In fact, if you don't have the hard copy of the Hadith, for instance, if you don't have the hard copy of this Hadith, Sahih Buhari, Sahih Muslim, or even any of the hadiths, there is a website called sunnah.com. This website was actually made by Muslims. It was actually developed by the Muslims so that individuals, the Muslims and non-Muslims, can check out the hadith narration online. Go to www.sunnah.com. You will check out this hadith yourself. Type in the hadith narration. Just take a keyword, type it in there, and it will show you. So if you feel that the Christians are lying about these things, you can go to your own source and verify it yourself. I hope you have gone to the site to go and check it out. Check these things out and verify it. Please, don't think the Christians are making it up. We're doing this because we love you. We're doing this because we want to discover the truth. We're doing this because we want to reach out to you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.